Hello, I'm Karen Wild-Allen from the Coastal Environmental Modelling team at CSIRO Oceans and Atmosphere based in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. Recent projects our team have been involved with are the water quality modelling for the whole of the Great Barrier Reef for environmental management, observations and modelling on the Chilean Patagonia Shelf to support sustainable aquaculture and biosecurity, and water quality observations and modelling of our local salmon aquaculture industry here in Tasmania. Today I'm going to talk to you about integrated observing in Australia from offshore waters to coastal waters. Motivation for ocean observing in Australia is driven by the blue economy and management of our marine estate. Historically, Australia's marine observing has been fragmented and uncoordinated. In 2006, an integrated marine observing program was initiated to coordinate marine observing in a much better way. The Australian Integrated Marine Observing System is a national collaborative research infrastructure. It is supported with funding from the Australian Government and collaborations with universities and research institutes throughout Australia. Research infrastructure comprises equipment, systems and technical know-how for systematic and sustained observations. A founding feature of IMOS has been to pioneer open access data sharing. Data is deposited in the Australian Oceanographic Data Network and is under FAIR principles, which is findable, accessible, interoperable and reusable. The IMOS Science Plan is driven by the research community, organised by region, to identify and target big science questions. Facilities include deepwater ocean moorings, such as the Southern Ocean Time Series, which is one of the ocean site's locations. There are also autonomous underwater vehicles, ships of opportunity, and an animal tracking facility that uses tags and acoustic curtains to monitor animal movements. On the shelf, there is a national mooring network of reference stations and a marine sampling program. A number of wireless sensor networks and coastal radar deployments are also supported. A recent addition to IMOS includes the new technology proving facility. This has recently supported profiling mooring trials in Tasmania and Queensland. All data from these facilities are delivered to the Australian Ocean Data Network and use FAIR principles so that the data is of maximum benefit and freely available to all researchers and other users. IMOS data is integrated across scales and disciplines. This allows it to address complex science questions. I've included here Tom Dickey's diagram of various processes and phenomena of research interest. The time scale and space scales show that different observing platforms target different sectors of this diagram. So we have moorings, underwater vehicles and satellites, for example, which should be used to study different phenomena. I've included in this diagram a black dash box of models, and models provide a useful context to interpret isolated and often incomplete observations. In fact, models provide a hypothesis of the system beyond the scope of the observations and also a framework for testing the system understanding. For applied science, models are most useful when they have been validated against observations and demonstrated to have skills sufficient for them to be fit for purpose. The best observations for model validation are continuous, either in space or time. This allows the model to be validated across the widest range of scales. Off southern Tasmania, as shown here, we have used IMOS National Reference Station data, profiling mooring data, glider transects and remote sensing, as well as a range of project-specific lander, glider and mooring observations to validate our model. The resulting water quality model provides a consistent hypothesis of system dynamics across physics, sediments, optics, and biogeochemistry. The model provides insight to environmental managers who are locally tasked with the sustainable expansion of the salmon industry. For example, they need to identify sites for the location of new farms and understand anticipated water quality and sediment impacts. Models such as these are not just for the agriculture industry, but also for other blue economy industries such as the energy sector and, of course, the research sector. The last point I want to make is that the collection of data, synthesis across scales and disciplines, and generation of knowledge is not enough for science impact. Our team at CSIRO is now routinely delivering projects through information dashboards that communicate the evolving science to support decision makers. In Tasmania, this live dashboard, shown here, displays mooring observations, model analysis of past conditions and current conditions, and provides a 3 to 10 day forecast of dissolved oxygen concentrations local to fish farm infrastructure. The area is prone to low oxygen events, and the forecast allows fish farmers to take mitigation action when there is a predicted low oxygen event, and this has enabled them to avoid fish kills. This concludes my presentation on integrated marine observing in Australia and the path to science impact, from data to information, knowledge, insight, and ultimately action. Please contact me with any questions via email or during the panel discussion. Thank you for your attention.